Maybe I'm live. I lost signal backing out a while ago. We got crappy signal area, so lost signal. Friars Point right over there. That's where we're at, Friars Point, Mississippi. I'm assuming this is coming in all right. But yeah, we had a little connection issues on our live stream earlier, so I figured I'd just catch a little. It's just a beautiful morning. Look at that.
Charlie Malone song's going to be getting back underway here northbound Jimmy Hawkins. The Charlie Malone song.
Really pretty. Can't beat it. Can't beat it. Anyway, like I say, Friars Point, west over. There's Slackwater Harbor. We're out below Helena a little ways, and it's just a really pretty morning. And I lost signal earlier, so I figured I'd get a little this at least a replay. It's a pretty morning, y'all. I'll try to keep the live stream going as long as I got signal this morning. Let's get things brightened up. But yeah, that's a lot of the issue with these live streams is trying to get good signal. I'm kind of limited on that. Anyway, this little spot here can be a little slick and tricky. It's real tight and narrow down through here, and it's got a little turn to it. So usually, but it's short enough turn where you're kind of dropping down in here, but then you don't want to get jacked around this because then you'll be over here. So you kind of pull down. It's a little snake down through here, basically. It's not too bad. This is a good river stage. We've got a good toga boat, all that good stuff. So ideal conditions. We're 6 wide, but we've just got the short string over there, so it's kind of it handles about like 25 with a couple hanging off the side over there. So it doesn't really drag us off too much, being not centered up. But it's like I say, a short string. So the length, it doesn't at this view, it doesn't really appear so much. The width compared to length, you get a better representation of it seeing that. And see where we are back behind, where we're faced up. This is kind of a representation of it. See how we're set, we're offset a little bit. It's not that much of a drag having that over here, not being totally center or having that short string. You don't really get that much of a drag with the length that we have on these things. Really, I would notice the drag if we were sitting over on that barge. If we were centered up over here and had all this hang off, then I would notice the drag. So we try to get close to center. There's some guys I know that just try to get it exact, perfectly balanced, like they'd move over another 5 foot with this drag string. It seems like that's extra work. That's unnecessary. Most of these boats handle, especially the longer boats, they handle it. So look at that. Yeah, they can't beat that. See? That makes it all worth it, y'all. Woo. Yeah. Earl Etheridge.
Yeah, but as soon as I get back, Joseph right here, I'll cross over and be on the one for you.
Roger. You see you on the one. Appreciate it.
Yeah, you all have a good day.
There we go. But yeah, this is not too bad little stretch of river to get your attention sometimes when it's running. It's not too bad, man. Like I said, we've got the river's kind of doing a slow rise, I think. I'll check river stages, but just a really slow rise, less than a foot a day, which is really about ideal. It's not too, I would consider this a good normal river. And I've had folks ask me about Memphis. Wow, Memphis is kind of a good measuring point because it's a midway point between, well, it's a good. It represents where that what the water is going to be on down for the next 5 days. And usually I'm running them down below Memphis, so that kind of gives me a better idea. That's kind of why I use Memphis gauge, and also what water's coming at it out of the Ohio and the upper. So I don't know. I've had folks ask me that. Maybe Will ask me that about why Memphis gauge. Why I look at Memphis gauge for a reference point, like when I'm coming to the boat. It just is a good. I guess you could use anywhere you kind of run, but Memphis makes a good center point and gives me a good representation of what the river's doing above and below it without having to go through all the numbers. I just kind of focus on Memphis for, as a general rule. And see how it is. It's really tight down through here. There's buoys. We can just run kind of over on this shore where I run. And it's got a little turn. And you see that point. So you'll make sure we're outrunning that point. And you see how I'm kind of dropping down in here. So I don't want to just steer straight at it because then it'll set us on over here on that point. So you got to kind of steer down in here and then back at it. It's like I said, it's a little like that. And there's all these different places have different tendencies, in different stages of water and all that. But for the most part, man, it just almost, I'm watching for anything that'll catch me a little bit off guard, or if I kind of drop down in spots. But for the most part, like on a deal like this right here, if I wasn't focusing the camera on it and trying to explain what I'm doing, I'd be sitting there just probably listening to a podcast or reading the morning news and glancing up. And in other words, it's really effortless. It's me standing up describing stuff. I don't want it to seem like this is like there's any effort to this at all, to be honest with you. This isn't part of the hard work I was ranting about the other day. This is when I get to have beautiful mornings that are kind of easy like this. All that hard work got me into spots where I can just kind of enjoy the mornings. And she set me over a little bit. I could come ahead on it a little bit, but I don't like to unnecessarily. See how she's dropping, but I'm going to get down here a little bit more, and I've got the head. That's my predictor. It's a minute and a half, so it's not necessarily where I'm going to be. If I left everything like it is and didn't steer or didn't adjust my throttle, then it would probably try to, but that's just it's not totally accurate. I guess you have to learn what it's going to do. Now see what I'm going to do is, you see how it looks on here. Now then I'll steer back towards the point, which will lift this butt out like that. And it's a timing thing, see? Now then, see what I'm doing? I got my rudders like this. We're not running hard. I got to run in low RPM, so I got to use more rudder. If I was running full ahead, I wouldn't use as much rudder, obviously. It's the amount of water going across those things. So I'm not running as hard. We're running really pretty easy through here. So I'm having to use more rudder to get it to do what I want it to do. But, and then I watch my swing. Right now we're just straight. We're just setting down in here, and then that head's going to start doing that. That's the plan. You see, she's still setting my stern over this way. We're still kind of doing this, but then I'm going to start doing that. That stern will start lifting, you see. And like I said, I've had them hard down. You can see since I've been talking here for a second. So you got to, if I was full ahead, I wouldn't have to give it as much rudder as long, but since we're not burning that much fuel, we're kind of floating a little bit, not driving. We're not floating. I'm driving faster than the current speed, obviously. You see those bubbles, those are current speed. But you've got to and you see how now it'll come around and it's going to have me looking right. And basically I stay pretty close. I didn't ever really get close to that bank, and now we're coming off the bank. My stern's coming away from it. And the water also is coming down that shore and kind of hitting us, or sliding that way. It's not hitting us, we're outrunning it. But anyway, little description. I hope the signal's good this morning. I hope it's good. I try to describe what I'm doing a little bit. But see, now that we're just almost out to the sailing line. You got to watch this little dike down here. It kind of will catch your head up underneath that point, which is what it's doing right now. I can feel it. It'll catch that slack water under the point. So you don't want to like really steer. It's a real kind of a subtle thing. And my position on our rudder isn't really indicating how hard I'm steering, like I said, because we're low RPM. That's where the hooked up and hard down comes into play. I'm not hooked up, but I am hard down. There's a difference there. She's sitting over here a little bit. I want her to get out there. I want her to get out off there. She goes. Come on out there. That head kind of did catch a little bit on me here, because I'd rather be out here a little bit more. But we're not good shape. I mean, what I'm saying is just perfect position. I'm always looking to be in perfect position, but it just really doesn't happen. I'm dealing with so many variables that change constantly, as far as toe size and river conditions and all that. So that's where the feel and understanding the rig just kind of, I don't know, experience, y'all. Experience. And I know that I can be criticized for everything I've done here, because there's 100 different ways to do this stuff. But this is my way. And see, I'm kind of driving out of that pocket. Like I said, there's slack water up under here a little bit. And that's what I say. It's a little bit just, you got to play it. It's the changing conditions make things change. So it's hard to, say everything. Nothing's hard and fast out here. Things are constantly changing. Anyway, beautiful morning. And you see how we come around that shore, but we've slipped down there below where that bank is, where we were out here, but then we've kind of done that. I guess that's a little representation of it. I would rather be out there a little wider, but me steering down in this little slacker water down here, it kind of drug us off in here a little bit, but nothing severe. Just like I said, ideal positioning is what I'm always shooting for. It's a really pretty morning though. Can't beat that. Big river, big boat, beautiful sunrise. Not a bad deal. Not a bad deal at all. I guess I could hold the camera out that way. I was just going to do a little quick one this morning, sunrise, and so you get me talking about stuff. And generally, it's a signal fail before I shut up. Anyway, that's it. We'll and it's widening out now. I'll steer back down towards that way, and then we'll go on there. That's Oliver Shear. He's the one that hollered earlier. Said he's jumping over for the one, so he'll be on my one whistle side. One whistle, one syllable. Port side, port to port. One whistle. Starboard, two syllables, two whistle. There you go. Not a bad deal. Let me see. How deep is the river right here? Good question. 57 foot. Oh, I thought that was. $56 foot right there. 53.9 foot right there. And that'll constantly change all day, and I just watch it, and I mainly I watch when I'm on my turn, when I'm making turns and get up on those bars and stuff. That's where I watch my sounders more, because the rest of the time they're good water. But, yeah, beautiful one. Oh, what was the other question? Hold on, I saw another one. How many days out of the year are you on the river? Generally, I try to work a 30 on 30 off. That's just a general rule. So 6 months out of the year I'm out here. It's been way more than that. I've worked way more than 6 months a year for the past 10. So that's just a general rule for other folks, not me. 30 and 30. That's the general working schedule. Yeah, 28 to 30 days. I really don't have a set schedule, and we don't work on a certain day crew change. Because I ride different boats over here. So yeah, roughly it's actually going to be. I was off like 3.5 weeks this last time, and I'm going to be out here for like, well, depends on when I get off. But I've got my days in actually tomorrow. Yeah, I think I'll have 28 days in tomorrow. Yeah. Do the barges have any sort of keel to assist in directional stability? Man, you like that's a little bit over my head for this morning. I ain't had but one cup of coffee. They're double skin holes. Here, you can see they're double skin holes. So this box basically sets down inside of a boat, and that's the cargo hold, and it's a solid. It's a solid. If that was open empty, you'd see it's just a big empty box. There's no dividers because it's dry cargo, and it sets down inside of a hull of a boat. Now these are bow pieces, so these have kind of rake like a bow piece on them. And out there we have some that have bow pieces on them also out on the head. The rest of them are blunt flat end boxes yeah. Um, Now that's not always that's ideal, but sometimes we have to have boxes on the head and boxes on the stern. But it's ideal and handles better and all that when we have these bow pieces back on the stern that we can back against, and then bow pieces on the head, obviously, that we're shoving against. So, and if there's a preference, if we don't have enough bow pieces, we have boxes, we'll put them out on the head when we're southbound instead of back here, because you want to be able to back. We want to be able to back. So if we have those bow pieces back here, it helps the water. Helps us back. I think that was kind of yeah. That hopefully that described a little bit. But like I said, there's voids you can see, these hatch covers. Those are manhole covers. They've got ladders that go all the way down into the bottom to the bottom, and they're voids. That's where they can walk down the gunnels. But basically, that's what it is. It's a big cargo box sitting down in a separate vessel, or not a separate vessel, but in a vessel, and yeah, welded together. But that's what they call double skin hulls, because you can breach this hole, and we put pumps on it and patch the hole, and that's fairly common occurrence, especially on older barges. Um, but that doesn't get in the cargo hold unless there's obviously issues. But yeah. Yeah, I don't. Folks ask me about jobs. Go on Google, towboat companies, barge companies, um, Western Rivers, Ingram, Marquette, Arco, Kirby, and there's a bunch of different companies. I don't do the hiring. I don't have anything to do with that. I couldn't even tell you rates. Um, yeah, I really don't. I don't even talk to those people that much. I mainly deal with the port captain. That's my direct supervisor, and we don't discuss other people's pay rates. Um, so So yeah, that just comes under the father. There's just so much information one person can hold in their head. Mine stays full most of the time with just my stuff. With just my stuff, y'all. Anyway. That's about it. I just want
to Joseph Roy D.
to have a pretty morning, man.
Good morning, sir. We'll be on the one for you.